a child can win a chance to go to Browntown. Now, the parents are in an uproar because of that ass.
Yeah.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, presented by CinemaSins.
Welcome to Behind the Sins, a weekly look at everything going on inside the world of CinemaSins. I'm Aaron Dicer, and this week I'm joined by fellow Bafflegabbers Jonathan Watkins.
Hello, hello.
Ian Whittington.
Not arrested.
And Deneé Hughes.
Not fired.
We write for CinemaSins and TV Sins and do various other things inside the CinemaSins universe as well. Waiting for the week where Deneé has been fired and Ian has been arrested.
Yeah. I mean, it's statistically possible.
Probably in a related incident, yes. I'm guessing.
Oh my God.
It would be. It absolutely would be. Now, let's explore what that is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, in a twist of events, I was the one driving. Probably in the UK because I switched sides.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A roundabout is definitely involved because whether that's here or there, one of us is really confused.
Mm-hmm.
And you got pulled over by some really mean bobbies.
But you thought they were fancy dress. You didn't take them seriously.
And Ian got arrested for beating them up.
No, getting so mad at you, they arrested me to protect you.
Oh, shit.
Even though you broke the road law.
Right. And so then I fire you because of this situation. Turns out I'm also HR, and that's probably backwards, and I also fire myself.
Nice. In solidarity with your fallen brethren. Amazing.
Also, what's a Bobby?
Bobby on the beat. It's a police officer. It's a Bobby.
I thought you were learning your British slang, Deneé.
I am.
Okay.
That one hasn't come up yet. This is part of my learning.
I have a question for Ian, though. Do they still not carry guns?
Only at airports. Yeah. It's very, very rare. Maybe at Buckingham Palace around London, but yeah, no, as a rule,
Robin
it's a
Williams
big no.
had this old stand-up bit. Have you ever heard this? Where he's talking, he's like in the 80s probably, where he's talking about the fact that cops in England don't carry guns. So he's like, they're like, stop, or I will say stop again.
Yep, basically.
Yeah, there you go.
What a world.
That was one of the big parts I was concerned about when you got pulled over, was like if that would freak you out. Like, these
no.
guys walk up with, carrying heat or whatever.
He's like, they'll love my accent. It'll be fine.
It is a concern, definitely, but many, many people have guns in this country.
Yes, no, that's
I think you just
true.
Unfortunately become a bit numb to it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's head into the SinSide Scoop.
What's he building in there?
I've got a secret. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
This is a true story.
We're going to take a look at the videos from the week, the process of sending them, how we felt about the stuff we are sending in general. We'll kick it off in commercial Sins world. Jeremy Scott providing a Sins video for the QR code commercial that Coinbase put out, I think for the Super Bowl, right?
I don't care. I hate this.
I think it's kind of brilliant.
I think it's kind of dumb.
Wait,
it's not dumb.
No, it's not dumb.
It crashed their site. It worked so well.
Yeah, it's brilliant, but it's something arrogant about it as well. I don't know.
No, I hear you.
don't know.
There's something off-putting about it for sure.
I'm just old.
Yeah, I mean, it could be old man yelling at cloud a little bit.
This is a crypto thing, though, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
See,
yes.
I don't understand it, so I have no opinion of it whatsoever.
Well, and the other smart thing about it is the people who are early adopters, who are going to want to invest in crypto, or maybe already do and want a place to store it, they're going to be the exact same kind of people who are like, oh, cool, QR code. I know what to do with that. Let's go.
Course.
It's
knowing your audience very well.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it annoyed me so much, because I'm not the audience.
Yes. Old man yelling at QR code.
Yes.
Do you get mad at tampon commercials then? Or are you like,
what?
This isn't for me? God damn it.
I see your logic. Yes.
How dare you show this during my show?
Yeah, I've got to double down on it now.
Yes, yeah. There's no choice.
I see a lot of commercials that aren't for me because I used to watch I'd watch reruns of Columbo and Murder, She Wrote, and they were not putting ads on there for me. They were putting ads
No.
people much older and typically female. So
yeah.
Which I felt a little offended. I'm like, I'm not the only 40-year-old watching this. I probably am, but that's not the point.
There's at least half a dozen of us.
Hey, I got Chris on my Columbo side now, so One
Columbo's
down.
great. If I like had all the time in the world, I would definitely invest some of it in watching Columbo for sure.
There's not that many episodes.
Yeah, it's true. All right, Deneé, what are some of your thoughts on this video?
Well, first I thought that Ian was saying he didn't like our video. Not the commercial, our video.
I'm just really
like,
done with CinemaSins now. I'm kind of hate this.
Because I loved it so much, because it's the perfect pairing of such a ridiculous commercial idea with a ridiculous, just completely unexpected story. This is one sin, one story, and you just need to go watch it to experience it if you haven't already. It's not my most favorite one, because Uber Eats is my most favorite commercial sins of all time, and now I have a standard. Like I have that's the one, which technically means I have a list, guys. Whoa.
Deneé is making favorite lists.
Are you going to put this list in order?
Nope.
She just did. She just said Uber Eats is number one.
I did.
No, it only gets complicated when there's 3.
Yeah, it's technically, that's the thing, is my lists fall apart when we get to 3. So we'll see.
I hate this. I'm leaving.
I only know how to do better or worse. I don't know how to put actual 3 or more together in a list.
Yeah. It is hard for me to rank, because then I'm like, well, they kind of all stand on their own. But I learned a lot, because the comments talked about how this crashed the site and everything like that. So it's just a really interesting concept to just, I think it's smart. I think it's a smart commercial, and I love the Sins video.
Yeah. I did as well. I think I've heard this story before. This is a Jeremy Scott story that I think he's told me before. And my favorite part is the pickup line that he uses, which is so terrible in so many ways. Which is there anyone in your life that might object to you giving me your number? It is so bad. Oh, it is so bad.
What a question.
Yeah. And I can just see Jeremy just thinking that's so clever and so cute. And then, yeah, absolutely.
It's a different way of asking if you have a boyfriend, or if you have a girlfriend, or whatever, if you're interested in dating. It's just a unique thing that makes you stop and think, which I think is clever. But then it's also like, all of a sudden I'm thinking of everyone in my life. It eliminates people that I'm interested in, and it turns it into everyone I've ever met.
Right.
So
oh my God.
There's more to think about.
Like this guy that asked me the same question last week. Yes, I don't think he would be happy with you having my number.
Yeah. Deneé would be like one of the worst people to ask that question to. I'm just now realizing, like, if that was you, you'd be like, oh my God, why did you do this to me? Now I have to think.
Okay. Now I have to think. Hold on. Let me just go through my contacts. Now, turns out I haven't updated my contacts since 2005.
Turns around, walks away.
I have calculated that there are about 37 people who might be upset that you asked me for.
I just sent out a mass text. Now, some of these people I haven't talked to about 17 years, so we'll see what they have to say.
There was this guy on Twitter that said I was hot today. Maybe, I don't know how to get in touch with him, but maybe he would be upset.
I would rank them all, but I'm not interested.
The other part that I had to mention were just the VHS videos he went home with. They included candy striped nurses and Turner and Hooch together, which is just so great. Oh my goodness, so much fun. Jonathan, what about you? What are some of your thoughts?
I don't know what else to say about it other than it was just really cool. I like when we do these different things. It reminds me of like the the music video sends where it's just the narrator screaming no. Or whatever it was. That's right. It was fuck. Yeah. I just I like when we do things like this that are like still within our make sense within our narrative, but it's also just a little different. I just like that, and towards the end, like this is a Coinbase commercial or some nonsense. Like they're just now realizing what they're supposed to be doing. And then I loved the sentence audio. What is it? What?
Yeah.
Which I don't know what that was from, but it was
Turner and Hooch, wasn't it? Was it from Turner and Hooch?
Oh, I don't know. It was perfect, though.
Oh, the words were Turner and Hooch. No, it was something.
The sentence was Turner and Hooch, I think.
Yeah.
But then the audio was what is it?
What?
Ian, what about you?
That same thoughts. I was actually going to make the DJ Khaled video comparison as well. You've got to pick the right subject to do something off the wall like this with. It's perfect. I love it.
Yeah, and it is one of the benefits of doing these shorter things like music videos or commercials. Yeah. You can occasionally do that and get away with it. Honestly, the video is not that much shorter than a regular commercial sins video. So it becomes a little more complicated with TV Sins and CinemaSins to do something like that because
oh my God, can you imagine?
Because then you do feel like you're stealing time from people. Like they come expecting a level of investment or critique or time or whatever.
So you said the website crashed though?
Yeah,
Coinbase.
Yeah, it crashed the website for Coinbase. So, you know, and the fun thing about the comment section for this one is people being like, you know, I actually went and grabbed my phone and I ran back to the TV. I was chasing it around the monitor trying to get the QR code.
I mean, that's kind of cool, but it's also kind of like, man, they probably missed out on a lot of people checking that out. Like, you'd think they would have been better equipped, but I guess you just don't know. I mean, you just
don't know.
I mean, that's like, you just don't know what's going to happen.
And I think Aaron hit the nail on the head. The people that don't understand the QR codeness of it aren't the people investing in what they're advertising.
Absolutely, no.
Yeah, and there is also just a real element that we need to remember for what we do, and anybody who is in the area of entertaining people or trying to get people's attention, people love to figure it out themselves too. Like, and that's something we do in some sins too, where things are subtle, or you know, we mention something that not a lot of people may understand, but other people may look up. Like, there's something really good about people figuring out, like feeling like they're the smart part of the equation. And it does that thing too, where it's like, we're not even going to tell you what to do with this thing because, you know, you're going to figure it out and do it. So, all right, moving on to TV Sins. Book of Boba Fett, still going through that. It is still called the Book of Boba Fett, but we have taken a very clear turn back to the Mandalorian with the return of the Mandalorian. This was a Cardoso Watkins script, which will be a theme this week. So Daniel and Jonathan writing on this one. Jonathan, start us off. Some of your thoughts on the season 2.5 episode 1 of The Mandalorian.
I like how, like, for the last like 3 or 4 weeks, I would just go, we'll get to this eventually. Now,
yes,
now
and
we get to come
here.
to it.
Finally.
We are here. Yes.
I don't get this. Like, I really, really don't get this. And I know that, like, I remember when I first watched this, because I saw it after you guys, because I remember you guys talking about it, like, and you were kind of making jokes about, you know, if you want to call it Boba Fett, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then I watched it. I'm like, oh, sure enough, like, he's not in any of this. And he's not even in, like, what, 2/3 of the next episode?
Think. He does not show up in this episode. He is mentioned once at the end of this episode, and then he is mostly not in the next. He's maybe in 5-10% of the next episode. Yeah.
Yeah, like you guys were saying, like, it's weird. And I saw a lot of people defending it, like, because there were people obviously complaining about it. Like, yes, this was a good episode, but it didn't have Boba Fett. And all the defenses I saw were like, well, this was a spinoff, so of course that, you know, that's why. But that still doesn't, like, there's no, like, spinoffs don't do this. So I don't, I mean, maybe they do now. I mean, maybe we're just in a new era of television. But to me, it's just weird. But it's still a good episode. As far as, like, the setting, I mean, we just, we had a lot more sins about, like, just the fact that it was the Mandalorian and not Boba Fett. So we had to cut those down. But, it was interesting trying to find new ways to say it because I didn't think you could hit it enough, you know. So we still got to keep a few in for that. The only other one I'll talk about, the medical insurance sin, was really funny because Aaron reviewed this, and you asked me, I can't remember how you said, I just thought you didn't understand why we did the sin. And then so I said, well, because, you know, it's, you know, I just thought it'd be funny to compare the insurance to this, and then you were like, "No, I don't know what the donut hole is." And
Yeah,
I
had never heard of that before.
Oh,
yeah.
That's so funny.
Well, and it's Medicare. It's a Medicare thing,
right?
And so we obviously don't have Medicare. The only reason I knew about it was because my mother-in-law complains about it because I have 2 in-laws. They're very healthy people, but they have, you know, you get older, you need meds for various things.
Yeah.
And so I've heard it a lot in my life. So, but yeah, it's a real thing. For people out there that don't know what it is, what I'm talking about, though, it's just that Medicare has this thing that once you reach your max for the year on prescriptions, you start owing more for a little period of time. And for whatever reason, people call that the donut hole. I honestly don't know why it's referred to as the donut hole, but so that was just kind of funny because I misunderstood Aaron's question. He's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, yeah, and you were like, we can cut it. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I wasn't trying to cut it. I just didn't understand it.
Well, it was very silly. That's what it was. I thought you just thought it was silly and not, you know, didn't need to be on there. So
yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, no, this was a fun one to send. The next one is fun as well. I can't remember if I actually wrote on the next one, but I just remember that'll be fun to talk about too. But
yes, we'll get there eventually, as we
there.
often say with these. What about you, Ian?
This is by far and away my favourite episode of the season.
I agree.
It's just a weird time to premiere season 3 of The Mandalorian. It's bizarre. Everyone said it. All the jokes have been made. I don't know how this got off the drawing board. I don't know why this thematically makes sense. It feels lazy because it's like, we want a Mando Boba team up in the finale. Good. So do I. Everyone does. But there's no finesse to it. It's just, screw it. We won't have Boba in this episode. You can get away with that when you've got your 20-25 episode runs of a series. Not when it's 9 episodes, 8 episodes long? You can't get away with that. 7 episodes, you can't do that. Baffling to me. Absolutely baffling. So before I get any angrier, we'll go into the sins.
I think you mean baffing, by the way, not baffling.
Oh, man. Are we doing this now?
No.
Are we doing this here?
Listen, for all
We'll get to it later.
For all I give people about referencing the outtakes for the episode, I just referenced the something that will be in an actual episode 2 weeks from now. Anyhow,
referenced a pickup.
Yeah,
great. This is incredible. Right, so the armor is that friend that shows up after you've moved all the heavy pieces of furniture.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
Though the lead-in was those born of Mandalore strayed away from the path. This footage makes it look like they strayed from that, less like they strayed from that path, and more like it was obliterated by suborbital bombardment. Absolutely beautiful. Me and Deneé did a bit of BTS prep together and both paused the video and died slowly as we laughed at that.
Nice.
And no one will be seated while Mando goes through a TSA checkpoint. I felt that come straight from Aaron.
That was Daniel.
Yeah.
Was it? Oh,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, I just reviewed this, so
that's so great.
Yeah, me and Daniel wrote it. Yeah, Aaron was just a reviewer.
Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Brilliant.
You're fine.
Absolutely brilliant.
Deneé, what about you?
Well, I just want to say for the record that I thought that the donut thing was referencing the thing that you sit on if you have hemorrhoids. So
nice. Still works.
I think it still works.
Fair enough.
It still works.
Or if you break your tailbone.
This is another episode of Boba Fett that I did not watch, but I liked watching the fallout of the episode because everybody was panicking and freaking out. So I didn't get the excitement of watching the saber thing happen or any of that, which is fine because I get to kind of experience it with watching the video, which is always an interesting one. It was neat. I liked seeing the saber come out. That was pretty freaking cool.
Dark Saber's outstanding.
You mean the lightsaber?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
The lightsaber?
Is that what it's called?
No, we call it that. I was just in the video. We call it the lightsaber.
I forgot. We went back and forth on that if we should call it the correct thing or not, and then we just decided no, it'll be funnier if we just don't call it.
I missed that.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was very trolly.
Anyone that likes the lightsaber, don't be attached to it. It doesn't come up again.
And then I just liked the Ian mentioned many of the ones that I was liking as well. And then what should I forge for the foundling? Grogu asks the armor, and our sin is a better name.
Loved that.
I want to say Grogu kind of has been growing on me as time has gone on, but I do love that we still sin it.
It's because we love Grogu so much. So if that's the little creature's name, then we're gonna start loving that name. Yeah. I agree. This was a very funny video, and agree with everything that's been said about what is going on here. I think my understanding, and they haven't come out and said this, but my understanding is that they really didn't even on set know that they weren't shooting Mandalorian. Like they thought they were shooting stuff for the next season of Mandalorian.
Oh no!
And that Disney thought they could do it as that. I've read a couple things on this, so I like that there's this idea that Book of Boba Fett is kind of manufactured to be kind of season 2.5 of The Mandalorian, and just kind of squeeze.
But it's not that.
It's not. But just think of all the work. Think of all the plot, and we will get to this. We will sin it. All that. All the plot work that they're doing in the Mandalorian TV show in this other show. Not just that these characters are here in this episode. Not just that these characters are making cameos or appearances. They're doing actual plot work of that show.
Things that will not make sense when you watch season 3 of The Mandalorian, unless you've watched this.
Yeah. So yeah, it's wild.
That could be part of it too.
It's absolutely wild. As far as specific sins, most of the ones I had written down have been mentioned. I did like the narrator's continued confusion as to why they keep mentioning Rocky, and ending the one joke seems more likely than Boba Fett showing up at this point. Any of that slamming is going to be good for me. Also, we have to mention the elevator fart outtake. It is so
funny,
perfect. It works so well.
The way that outtake is, and then the alien just sort of casually glances over.
I forgot to look where Daniel got that from. I actually thought, I need to go look up where he got that from, but I forgot.
Oh, it's so good.
Beautiful.
It's so very good. Very good. All right, let's move into Rick and Morty, The Wedding Squanchers. This also a Cardoso-Watkins script. Jonathan and Daniel writing on this one. This, I believe, finishes up season 2 for us.
I think so.
So we got through season 2, and start us off, Jonathan. What are some of your thoughts on this one?
It's a funny episode. I think we've talked about Rick and Morty ad nauseum on this show, so I don't know if I can add more to that conversation. But no, this was a really funny one. As far as the video itself, it was interesting to me after we did it, that FedEx and Amazon comparison to UPS, that story about leaving in the driveway, into the driveway or outside the fence, that was actually based on something that happened to Jeremy. That I just remembered. But then I was thinking about, but then Aaron's talking. I don't know. It was just kind of funny because it's like we have a narrator talking about, even though the narrators are not the same as the people that are,
right.
But it was just kind of one of those moments where I'm like, that's funny. I've got Aaron telling a Jeremy story. And then I don't know if someone out there has done this. If they have, I'm really curious how many sex tapes our narrator has at this point.
So fucking many.
I mean, there's 2 in this episode alone.
Listen, the narrator has made 0 sex tapes. That's the joke.
Yeah.
The joke is that the narrator is trying to pretend like that he knows what sex is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's always questioning it. He's like, it's a terrible sex tape. He doesn't get it.
Does that work?
No.
Is that what happens?
I've read these completely differently, but which is okay. You get what you get out of it. But
that's right.
Anyways, yeah, no, it was fun to write. I love writing with Daniel. He's always a blast to write with. So this turned out well.
This had the back-to-back sex tape jokes, right?
Yes,
where the
it did.
second one was like sequel to the title of my sex tape. It was something about humans, about now I'm going to involve humans or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. I love sitting Rick and Morty. I think there are multiple reasons for that. Number one, the show is so funny. It's so meta itself. It does all kind of the same things that we do. So because of that, the audience is like, there's the huge crossover of our audiences. It is clearly the most successful thing we ever sent on the channel. And we really enjoy it. We covered a lot in this. I did want to mention some of my favorites. I just have to start off with the first sin because it's so fun, and it's about the absorption rate of cereal, and depending on which cereals you're using. And then it finishes with, you're going to want to let that thing soak for 5 days minimum in a mixture of equal parts vinegar and dish soap, after which you toss it in the trash and figure out what you're doing with your life. That made me laugh. Also, the phrase "big old Ted Lasso biscuits" in that one made me laugh. Did any of you eat the old Big Biscuit shredded wheat?
No, I don't.
My
think
dad
so.
did.
I definitely ate that growing up.
My dad did, for sure.
Like those shredded wheat pillows.
Oh, do you mean
know?
like the circular ones almost? Or
I feel like I've
oblong
had
shapes?
one.
They look like pillows. They're just like
It's
long and round.
You put some milk on them.
Yeah.
You microwave them for like 2 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
a little bit of sugar.
No.
A little bit of sugar.
No,
Yeah.
love it.
Why would you
totally.
microwave it?
To make it warm.
Yes, and a little bit softer, and
it breaks it down.
That's absolutely
Great amount of fiber.
yeah.
Don't listen.
It'll sort your exhaust vent out straight away.
Did the same thing with rice growing up quite a bit. A little bit of milk, a little bit of sugar, put it in the microwave.
Oh, that's gross.
Delicious. Oh, delicious. Anyhow, we're not doing microwave sins right now. We're doing Rick and Morty sins. We already covered this, Morty. Say you don't watch TV sins without saying you don't watch TV sins. I just thought that was a really smart way to keep a sin in that they send themselves later, you know, because this always happens with Rick and Morty because they are so meta and aware of this stuff. So, yeah, I had a fun time with it. Deneé, what about you?
Rick and Morty. That's all.
Fair enough.
I liked the Squanchers sin. Thought that was a needed one. I loved how it appeared in the comment section as well. There's a really nice series of Squancher commentary on this one. I wrote them down for the comment section today, but there's so many. I would just recommend, if you guys haven't checked out the comment section for this particular one, there's some fun squanching happening.
Ew.
I liked the sin. The catering space van has super convenient worm-based countermeasures. I like the word countermeasures a lot. And I thought that was clever. And then the first of all, light years a measure of distance, that whole kind of sin that then devolves into what we haven't watched from the Academy Award rewatch. I thought that was clever as well. But, you know, 3 cheers for us for getting through another season of Rick and Morty.
Yeah, we did.
I know there's more to go, but they are so tricky. Like, this is just a tricky thing to sin, and I think it sounds really good.
Yeah, I think we've already sinned 2 episodes of season 3, so I think we've got about 8 or so left to sin there. But then season 4 is when we actually started sinning. The second half of season 4 was when we started insta-sinning Rick and Morty. And so we've got that second half of 5 episodes already done. So it would just be the first 5 of that, and then we're all caught up. So exciting times, exciting times. All right, let's move into CinemaSins. We will kick it off with Encanto, Cardoso Whittington script. Ian and Daniel writing on this one. Very much a Daniel week this week, writing on a lot of stuff.
Daniel.
Get it.
So, yeah, start us off, Ian, with some thoughts on Encanto.
Yeah, I really like this movie. Well, actually, no, I hated it to begin with, but I really liked it after watching it.
When did you hate it?
Hate was a strong word. I didn't hate it. I fell asleep when I watched it because I was very tired and it was in the theatre, so I didn't give it a fair chance. And then when I came to watch it again, I got to the point where I fell asleep and realised it was only about 15 minutes into the movie.
So it was just you being tired.
I woke up for the finale and watched the last 10 minutes, and I was like, none of this movie makes any sense. I don't know what Disney is playing at.
Tell me you didn't watch the middle of Encanto without telling me you didn't watch the middle of Encanto.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, having watched the movie back to back was outstanding. Yeah, no, I really like it. This has got great themes, great messages about how strength comes from lots of different places, and being a normie is absolutely fine as well.
Yeah.
I remember Aaron reviewing this script and just like, you're going quite hard on Abuela and how horrible a person she is. Me and Daniel are just like, yeah, we are. She's a terrible grandmother. She's mean.
She is, but I think what I was going hard on was the fact that the movie knows this. Like, this is what the movie is doing. Yeah.
And we had lots, and there are lots of deleted sins about that
Abuela.
and about how terrible she is and how horrible they all are to Mirabel. And I don't know why Mirabel wants to be in this family, but yeah, Pixar's always fun. Pixar, damn it, I did it. I'm leaving that in.
Well, it brings up a good behind-the-scenes story, which is what we do here, which is the fact that you genuinely cannot shake the fact that you think this is a Pixar movie.
I can't get it out
because
of my brain.
There were sins. There were several sins in the script that were like Pixar-based sins.
I ended up just doing a find and replace for Pixar and then replacing it with Disney.
Which is interesting because it doesn't feel like a Pixar movie to me. But maybe that's just because I know it's Disney. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, it just had that kookiness and quirkiness to it that made it feel. Maybe it's because this and Turning Red came out at a similar. Well, it feels like they've come out at a similar time, and they kind of hit on some similar themes.
I don't know. I guess to me, it felt more like Tangled or Moana or something like. So that's why.
No, I never got that vibe.
It's not always going to work this way, but Pixar has never done a musical. So
interesting.
Coco is the closest.
Yeah.
But all the stuff in Coco is part of the actual.
Got it.
What do they call it? Diegetic? Is that what they call it?
It's actually in the film.
Yeah.
People aren't breaking character. Correct. In the fourth wall. Yeah.
But Disney movies are often musicals. You know, Frozen, Moana.
Correct.
You know, so that is a distinction that doesn't always work, but sometimes
that makes sense.
Yeah.
My favourite run of sins was accusing the kid of being a psychopath because he was drinking coffee outdoors. He was like swinging the mug around, and he just seemed sketchy as all hell to me.
Yes, I agree with you, 100%. Jonathan, why don't you go next?
Yeah, I mean, I like this movie. I've seen it a couple times. My daughter has now watched this movie, I don't even know how many times. I mean, she really loves it. So I've seen it a couple times, and I've seen bits and pieces of it a lot because I'll be like, she'll be at the kitchen table listening to music and stuff like that while I'm making dinner. So it's good. It's good. I don't know where I'd put it like in the Disney pantheon, but it's a very good movie. As far as the sins, I thought the video was hilarious. This small village somehow has a thriving accordion industry. I thought it was very funny. And then I was going to mention the one where the sin where it actually says, "Oh, that's right, this isn't Pixar, it's Disney. I should have known by the fact that it's released in theaters and was marketed well."
That may have happened to have been an Aaron Dicer adjustment.
I think, well, Aaron made a comment
not that I'm bitter or anything.
on
No,
Twitter. I think somebody asked you about Seeing Red, if it was showing in theaters in California. And I remember you made a comment along these lines.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know. I mean, I know what you mean, but I also I don't think Turning Red wasn't marketed well. I mean, I think they marketed the hell out of Turning Red.
No, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. I'm slamming them for some of the Lucas stuff and that kind of thing. So, yeah.
But I feel like you should have the option to see it in a theater. I don't know why that matters to them because they do that with other stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, it's weird how they
really
make those
weird
decisions.
And then she heard her fucking eye twitching. I just thought that was really
How would you sleep?
The Abuela thing is interesting though because I know sometimes when I'm watching that when we're going hard on a character, I always have to sit there and think like, well, isn't this the point? Because that's a hard thing when you're writing, even though you don't like the character. If the movie doesn't want you to like the character, then that kind of counteracts the sinning. But
it can be tricky.
But it's still hard not to do it sometimes.
In general, we will often then play it as, is the movie doing this too much? Like, if the movie is going too hard on it, how is the redemption going to work? Like, we'll sin like, is this now a redeemable character? More than we will, this person's a jerk. Well, yeah, we know the movie's saying that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So yeah. Deneé, I think, did not watch this because she didn't want to be. Yeah, she didn't want to be spoiled on it. Hasn't seen it yet, and is planning on watching it at some point. So I will go next. I have to give a huge shout out to Doctor Who. That is so perfect for that character that has a room that's bigger on the inside that's full of animals. That was just sheer genius. I loved that so much. All the others that I had have been mentioned, other than the one that talks about the film veering so close to horror that I'm thinking the editors must have made a version where Mirabelle is the only one really alive and all of the rest of the family are ghosts keeping her here and tormenting her. And then the sin being for, I haven't seen that version yet. I love that kind of stuff that puts you in this alternate universe where Disney has made a horror film based on this.
Heck yeah, they have.
Really fun. All right, let's move into Surf's Up. This was Cardoso Dicer, so Daniel and I writing on this one. This takes place in the aquatic world, which means there are triggers for Deneé, and so she has not watched this one either. So I will start with you, Ian. Oh, actually, I should start with me. That's how we do this, since I wrote on it.
It's your show.
Listen, that's right. Yes, Ian, start us up now. The main sin with this for me as we were sinning this, first of all, I remember this movie. I remember thinking it was clever, interesting. I liked how they kind of did the documentary format. I like Shia LaBeouf. I know that's a complicated opinion, as far as there are people who hate him and his acting or whatever. I think he's really charismatic. I think he's obviously made some interesting choices, but I think he's perfect in this role for this character. But the main issue with this movie is just the documentary problem. When you make something a documentary, you open yourself up to all sorts of weird logical inconsistencies. Where are the cameras? Why is the documentary crew shooting from out here in the ocean and also on the beach and also a different place in the ocean? That kind of thing. Where is the documentary camera in this shot that you should see in this shot? All that kind of stuff. Also, the order of shooting. like, why are they here now? And how did they get this response to a question that they don't even know they'll need until later? Like, all that kind of stuff comes up. It's basically all the problems you get with found footage, where it's like having to justify all the cameras, and then with the additional problems of intentional footage, where it's like, you did this on purpose, but how?
Yeah.
You know, kind of
Where
stuff.
is the camera person?
I also loved in this one throwing in a couple of really, really subtle references. One to the Benedict Cumberbatch
oh my goodness.
Penwings video. And love to see the love for that in the comments from the people that got that.
Oh, dear.
And then there's a Starship Troopers reference in here that I loved throwing in that's very subtle about when they're showering and the directors getting naked so that they would feel more comfortable during the shower scene is a rumor about Starship Troopers co-ed shower scene. So yeah, enjoyed throwing that kind of stuff in as well. Now, Ian, what are some of your thoughts about Surf's Up?
Potato, tomato, penguin, penwing. I died because you just immediately, if you know the interview, you just go back to it and just Benedict Cumberbatch's innocence. Penwing.
And he just says it that way during the whole doc, and they leave it in. It's amazing. It's amazing.
So great.
Yeah.
So Surf's Up, I judged unfairly, but possibly fairly, because it is in the batch of films that I have watched in parts maybe 100 times, because it was on repeat when I worked at Toys R Us.
Oh, wow.
So
what an interesting way to experience a movie.
Many movies.
You were
it
like
was my
Paul
first...
Rudd in a 40-Year-Old Virgin with that Michael McDonald concert.
It's such a bad way to experience movies. So I'm trying to think of what WALL-E was another one that I have experienced in that way, but has survived. Most of the Narnia films. So my tenure in Toys R Us was 2007 to 2013, something like that. So any films, especially kids' films that came out during that time, they had them on all of the monitors everywhere to advertise it and to plug it. So yeah, I despise this film because there are certain, and you walk past it and it's always the same scene playing. It's never a different part of the film. It's the same bit over and over again, statistically unlikely as that is. So yeah, but having watched the Sins video, I still don't like it. I think if this had been assigned to me, I'd have been like the first one where I said no. I can't do this.
Wow, I can't wait for one of us just to be like, nope, sorry, Chris, not doing that one. Not gonna happen.
That. I'm so sorry. I did like the defending Happy Feet, because Happy Feet is the better version of this movie in almost every way.
Well, it literally is a purposeful Happy Feet slam. Like
it is. It absolutely is. Choosing Shiverpool over Ice Castle upon Brine. Was that you, sir?
No, that was Daniel.
Because that's
knowledge.
Good stuff
right there.
That's some UK knowledge. I love it. Why, and just the whole meta-ness of how animals are treated in this universe was brilliant. Like, we're friends with chickens. We eat chickens. The vegetables in the sea talk. Like, what fresh hell have we created here?
Yeah.
So no, you guys did a great job.
Yeah, I did feel bad, and I didn't see anybody in the comments reference it, but since I wrote this, I have solidified my understanding of the word sentience a little bit better. I was under the impression for a long time, I just used it to mean self-aware. But sentience doesn't mean self-aware, it just means can feel things.
It basically means
senses.
Alive. Yes.
So all animals are sentient, but I've never thought of it that way. I should have used the word self-aware, and going forward, I will know that distinction.
I've been using it incorrectly too.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that you learn, and then you kind of change how you talk. But yeah, so I should have used self-aware rather than sentience. But I'm glad the points came through anyway.
Still gets that. Yeah.
Yep. Jonathan, what about you?
I've never seen this movie. It looked fun. I've heard like positive things about it in the past.
Oh man, people love this movie.
Yeah. I mean, when it came out, when did it come out? I don't know. I don't think my daughter was born yet. I think it was prior to 2011. But if it wasn't, she was really young. But we just never watched it, so I've never seen it. But it looked interesting. Although I'm not a huge Happy Feet fan, so if you're saying it's not as good as Happy Feet, maybe I don't want to watch it. I like the Sen calling documentaries reality films. I thought that was really funny. This is what happens when you don't pony up for Morgan Freeman, people. I thought that was really the whole thing about just the narrator complaining about them blurring the otters like genitals or whatever it was. But the penguins were all naked, which is totally fair. Like, I mean, penguins are always naked, right? I mean, they're never like, even though it looks like they're wearing a tuxedo, that's not really a tuxedo.
Well, the kicker for that one is then later sitting the fact that they don't blur it.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Which, I mean, I know they're just making a joke anyways, but
of course.
It still is funny. The cock-a-doobie-doo and the tale of jungle stereotypes, I just really enjoyed that.
Nice.
Or whatever that was. It was funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, had a lot of fun with this one. All right, that'll wrap it up for SinSide Scoop. Let's move into the comments section.
I want to know what you're thinking.
I appreciate your honesty. You're a real straight shooter.
You are the ones who are the ball lickers.
We're each going to pick a comment from the last week's content from the various places that you reach out. Discord, YouTube, Reddit, etc. Today, since we haven't heard from you in a second, what is your comment section?
I went to the YouTube for BTS last week, and there was a comment from Mark who said, who was talking about the same thing we talked about earlier, that the Fennec cybernetic repair happens in season 2, episode 6. So thank you, Mark, for helping us find the exact location for anyone that was interested. Nice. And then, of course, I mentioned the Squanchers, which started with somebody, I think their username was I actually paid to see this. It was funny.
Nice.
The Tammy reveal was pretty squanch breaking, honestly. I know we only squanched her twice before this, but she was a relatively well squanched character that I started to squanch for. That's really funny. And then there's several comments underneath, all using squanch, obviously. And that was my favorite one this week.
Beautiful.
Jonathan, why don't you go next?
I had a couple for Mandalorian. I mean,
The Mandalorian.
that was not on purpose. That was
no.
Oh, it's amazing.
I even wrote Book of Boba Fett on my sheet, and I still said The Mandalorian. So one commenter, Prickly Poo, said, I'm kind of surprised there was no sin for a bounty hunter obtaining a ship with only one seat and 0 cargo space. Even if he's decided to make the head in a sack thing a regular occurrence, where is he storing them? That is morbid as hell, but that is very fair. I have no idea.
Very true.
And Patrick McCormick said, as a person in the super minority of Medicare Advantage professionals, I thank this staff for its Part D coverage gap reference. You're welcome.
That's amazing.
I know, I love it.
I do love that.
People have thoughts about the donut hole, man. Ask my mother-in-law if you ever meet her. She'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, Daniel Craig especially has some really good thoughts on the donut.
What an odd thing, like, to meet your family member and to not be like, so, like, what's it like, you know, being around Jonathan? Be like, tell me about your donut hole thoughts.
She'd be more than happy to give you all of her opinions.
She'd just launch into it.
I bet.
Good old Marie.
Joanna Jackson, this was on the Surf's Up video, wanted to help us out with some extra sins, and I bring this to you guys because I don't know if I'm getting trolled or not.
Great,
like,
good,
and that's okay. It's
that should
either
be a
way,
segment.
it's okay.
Am I being trolled?
It's either way, it's okay. But the sins that I'm not going to list them all, but she lists a bunch of possible sins. In one of them, she says, Chicken Joe saying he's from Lake Michigan. Michigan is in Indiana, 2 whole states away from Wisconsin. What? Like,
I don't know.
Michigan is in Indiana. Now, even if you mean Lake Michigan is in Indiana, 2 whole states away from Wisconsin. First of all, fine, but Lake Michigan is bordered by Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, and Indiana.
Because it's a big one, okay?
Because it's a very big lake. So 2 whole states away from Wisconsin, by the way, is also only like 60 miles. You can get to Wisconsin in about 60 miles from Indiana. So I'm trying to think, like,
there is a Michigan City in Indiana.
There is?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
Some people are just really confident to leave comments on the internet.
Yes. Do you think this is a joke, or do you think this person
I don't get
really
it.
thinks Lake Michigan is only in Indiana?
Did you mean light years when you said miles?
I have no idea. I really don't know, man. I feel like words were left out in that comment. I feel like they just didn't go back in and put them.
Yeah, something. But yeah, I was trying to figure that one out. But thank you, Joanna, for making me think.
Joanna,
for making me think about Lake Michigan. and where it actually is.
That's great.
Ian, what about you?
So I've got one from Matt Hacker on the Boba Fett video that just made me laugh. This episode was my second favourite, only because the sixth one had Ahsoka, R2, Luke, Grogu, Cad Bane, and the Marshal. But mainly Ahsoka because she's my favourite character, and Grogu, R2 because they're always adorable. Just like no mention of Boba Fett because there's 2 episodes where he's not mentioned. You can't sum up Boba Fett any better than that comment.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Great.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. All right, let's move into nitpicking the nitpickers of the nitpickers.
But we wouldn't want to nitpick, right, Danny?
Pick a little, talk a little, pick a little, talk a little, cheep, 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 talk a lot, pick a little more. Actually.
Oops. What do you mean, oops?
Missed it by that much.
Am I just going to nitpick everyone until they leave me?
Ian takes a look at some actuallys from the comments, and we decide together if the commenter was green, yellow, or red.
Yes, and we are actually going to go person to person and vote.
And just to clear it up
one.
for the audience,
Yes.
A red rating
For the audience. Yeah, okay.
A red rating means we believe that the commenter is not correct in taking us to task.
Correct.
A green rating means the commenter is correct. They should have taken us to task. And a yellow rating means it's kind of both. There's a little bit from column A and column
I'm sure that is perfectly clear now.
Okay, good.
So from Boba.
Barbaran? Is what, are we singing Barbaran now?
Yeah, from Boba. Bobo. You've seen him for bringing a Darksaber to a gunfight and it working, and then cut out the part where he literally slices his leg, and then there's all the bits later when he continues to struggle with it, as if that's the point. Now, loads of people commented that we've seen him for using the Darksaber and then don't acknowledge that he fails.
I believe the sin is a non-Jedi brings a saber to a gunfight, and this works. I think that's the sin.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're talking about this one.
And then visually, it's showing him not doing well.
I wrote that.
Well, it shows,
and it not working.
Yes.
I don't think that nullifies the sin, though, because he does still hold everybody off with it. I don't think him cutting himself changes the fact that he still wins the battle.
So Jonathan's going with a red. Deneé, what about you?
I mean, maybe a yellowish red, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Orange.
You should go to a doctor if it's yellowish red.
Yes, you should.
I think the person who wrote this is kind of saying you are showing him failing, but you're not showing him succeeding too. So I would go maybe yellow.
Yellow. Okay. I think I'm going to go yellow, but I lean towards red as well. I think that this works is fair because it doesn't work. Like it shouldn't work, I mean. So, and it actually does work. He does win the fight. Like if the works is in reference to the actual fight, I think the sin actually does make sense. And we did think about this when we were reviewing it too, and I think that's why
Which
we
is
decided
shocking because we don't usually think about anything we do.
Just put the donut hole in. It's fine. It's funny either way.
That's right. That's right.
I think it's a red for me as well because us saying this works is almost like solidified by the fact that he then struggles to use it later.
Right.
So it's even more this worked because it should. Why is he proficient with it now and not later?
Yeah, the leg wound almost backs up our point in some ways.
Exactly. It really shouldn't have worked in this instance, even though later on it doesn't work.
We could have been clearer about the leg wound thing. Like we could have thrown that in if we wanted to, but no, I think red is fine here.
So this is. I don't know that we're going to get to any solution on this one. I've just got one more.
All right.
And it's the light years thing from Rick and Morty. We are back.
Thank God. I thought it was gonna be something I wrote again. Like I didn't write.
We are back to the parsecs discussion. I'll pull out one comment that sums up many comments. Whilst light years measure distance, they are the distance light travels in a year. As TV broadcasts are radio waves which travel at light speed in space, or at least near light speed, the distance would be the time it takes for the broadcast to reach them. So they're not wrong when they say they are behind the broadcast by X amount of light years. I still don't know whether this works. So the idea
I'll start.
You go ahead.
Start. For me, it's as simple as replacing light years with miles.
And
does that make sense?
Yeah, and they're saying it's not as clear as that. It's not as
It's not as simple as that?
I guess you said
everybody agrees it's a form of distance, right?
It is, yeah. It is absolutely
miles
a form
is
of
also
distance.
a form of distance.
But
so
miles doesn't specify time, and light years does.
I don't know. We kind of interchange it for when we travel. Like I could say like I'm an hour away from such and such's house, or I'm 60 miles away from such and such's house.
Star Trek says they're like like Voyager was 70,000 light years from home, which translated to it would take them 70 years to get home. So
which also doesn't make sense.
I just don't think miles make sense in that sentence. And if it's not that simple, then maybe I'm missing something. But I think the sin is fine. I go with Red on this one.
I can't grab onto it enough because I feel like I just don't have an understanding of light speed enough to come down on it one way or another.
But we're not talking about light speed. We're talking about light years.
Yeah.
And my whole point of bringing up the Voyager thing is because I feel like they're saying distance.
Correct. Because it is distance. Light years should be a measure of distance.
So could you say they are... No, you couldn't. I think you're right. Yeah.
I think at the very least it's confusing, to
definitely.
use light years there.
Why wouldn't you use the actual amount of measurement? Deneé, do you have an opinion on light years?
Listen, if we're this confused, cut it. They're green.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not smart enough to argue against it. So green.
Good. I don't know what color that ends up being.
Well, I think you had 2 reds and a green, so probably red.
Yellow.
Great, yellow. All these will always be yellow.
Nice.
All right, let's move into our final segment, another new segment we're trying out this week. We call it Deconstruction.
Tell me a story.
Everyone stop construction!
Something sinister won't build itself.
What, do you make it up as you go along?
The Simpsons make it up as they go along, and they're as happy as a ribbon in a Bible.
That doesn't make any sense.
Deneé predicts what a movie is about based on its title, tagline, and bits of information she's given by the rest of the crew. Let me try to explain this, and then we'll try to do it. So basically, how this is going to work is I'm going to name a movie title that I'm pretty sure Deneé has never seen or has a lot of context for. This is the tricky part, because even when Deneé hasn't seen something, she will maybe remember bits and pieces of stuff, but not usually. So I will name a movie title. Deneé will then start telling us what this movie is about based on the title alone. Then
Okay, and then see, Aaron has an idea. I'm just gonna go ahead and change it.
Sure.
And then does everybody have a chance to give me another clue to try to get me back on track?
So then what will happen is when Deneé feels like it's time that she wants a little bit more information, she can either ask for a piece of information like tagline, which probably should be the first one. So the first thing you'll ask for is the tagline. And then you'll get to choose between plot keyword, piece of trivia, a quote from the movie, or a B-team team-up where you can ask Jonathan and Ian, or Ian, to give you a piece of information about this movie.
So is my
goal...
Or
ask them a direct question. You can also ask them a direct question about this.
Is my goal to actually get to like the final scene and be able to like predict what happened, or is this just like a general?
I think this is just general fun. I think this is just general fun. And then at the end, we will tell you what it's really about, and we'll see how.
Okay. You should say, if you haven't seen the movie that Aaron mentions, it probably will get spoiled. So,
right, that's true. That's true.
Yes.
Spoilers.
Okay. Now tell me my categories again. You've done this now 4 times for me, but I've never written it down.
You're fine. Tagline, plot keyword, piece of trivia, movie quote, or B-team team-up. And you can ask a direct question or get a hint from Ian.
So you have the tagline and everything, Aaron?
I have all that pulled up from IMDb. Yes. Cool. Yes. All right. So today, please tell us, if you would, what the movie Reservoir Dogs is about.
This is a movie about a gang of people. They're like mobsters, and one of them slices an ear off. It's super violent.
Dang it, you've seen this
really
movie.
Alarming.
Oh no!
There's chaos, and there's no dogs, which is good because when you mix violence with chaos, yes, Aaron.
What's great is I haven't seen this movie.
Ian, tell us
you really should. You should check it out.
E-Construction.
This
is going off great.
Well,
the best part of this is when we prepped for this.
It's so great.
Everyone was like, well, what if Deneé actually saw it?
How did you see Reservoir Dogs? This is going to be...
No. I haven't seen this movie.
All right.
It's just one that's been explained to me before because I was hanging out with a group of friends who are like, you've got to watch this movie. And I said, well, tell me about it. And they started to describe it to me. I was like, I don't want to see this movie. So I actually don't know anything about their relationships or what the goal is, or if it's just like a takeover thing. So I know those things happen in the movie, that there's a mob and that there's violence and that there's this epic scene where someone gets their ear sliced off. But I don't know about the motivations of the characters or anything. So we can still maybe try to see if I can piece it together.
I feel like Aaron was hoping you would head towards All Dogs Go to Heaven or like some kind of animated film and then drop you with, no, it's a mob film.
Yeah.
Sorry, Aaron.
No, you're fine. I have a backup. Plan.
Okay.
So, but I do need a second to get there. So, because I have all my IMDb tabs for Reservoir Dogs up here that I don't need anymore. So give me just...
That was a bold one because that's a big film.
You knew about the ear thing
to swing for.
Like, it's old enough and in a genre that she doesn't care about at all. Like, Quentin Tarantino movies and Deneé are not, like, synonymous.
No, totally.
So
totally.
This is going to happen,
Did you know about the ear?
Yeah. I do now.
Oh, you didn't? I was just curious if you did. I didn't know. Is Tarantino huge? Like, is he as big in your parts?
Of course he is. Absolutely.
I didn't
He's
know.
absolutely
in
massive.
your parts? Is
my
Quentin
parts?
Tarantino as big in your parts?
In England?
That's personal.
It's an honest question. Like, I have no... Are there
honestly,
like...
Tarantino's huge. He's just not... Reservoir Dogs just isn't one that I've watched. Just haven't got around to it.
Who were the actors in that one?
Tim Roth, Harvey Keitel, Quentin Tarantino's in it. It's been a long time.
Is that the one with Mr. Green and Mr.
Yes, they're all colors.
Yeah,
the colors. Mr. Pink. That's the one that I was thinking of.
I have seen this movie.
What was the name of the person? You have.
Which is the color. By the way, the names are a reference to one of the greatest movies of all time, the original Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. Because that's what the people taking over the subway. I don't know if they do that in the remake, but in the original they
in the
call
Denzel
themselves.
remake. I love that remake.
All right, since we spent a lot of time, and this was fun already. I believe this is fun anyways. That we kind of went through that.
Fun.
We're going to do a simplified version of one that nobody has seen. Ian has heard of this movie because I pitched to him that this might be fun to do this where none of us have seen the movie and just hear. And I still have a tagline I can give you.
Yeah.
Is this a movie that's yet to come out then?
It is a movie that comes to digital platforms on March 22nd. It'll be out in 4 days. It is not coming to theaters. Okay. But I have been, it's one of those emails I get where, hey, we've got a screener. Why don't you review this movie or whatever? Oh,
interesting concept. Okay, so we can't confirm
have you seen
a lot of what I'll say.
I know what the movie is about. And I will read you the description of this movie. I have not. None of us have seen this. None of us have seen this.
Let's
movie.
do it.
All right.
You don't know my means. I might have seen it.
Well, maybe you have seen this. Deneé, the movie that you are going to tell us what it is about is called Browntown.
Oh dear.
No,
Browntown is the name of the movie. So tell us what this movie is about.
A Crayola children's movie. This begins in a box of crayons. The box represents like the world that the crayons live inside of.
Yes.
And Crayola decided to release a really interesting series, much like an eyeshadow palette will release like a nude version. They did like different colors, and that's the premise of the movie. It's trying to shine light that all colors are valuable.
Nice.
And all shades are valuable.
Sounds like a Pixar film.
Yeah, it really does.
It's very Pixar.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Animated? Is it animated?
It's animated.
Okay.
With a shocking twist halfway through where we switch over to puppetry.
Oh,
nice.
Sesame Street style.
Oh, nice. I like it. Are you ready for the tagline for the movie Browntown?
Yes.
What is this movie? Is it brown like the color?
Yes.
I can't even get it to come up on IMDb.
I know. Browntown with I think an exclamation point.
Because it's exciting.
Yeah.
Brown is exciting.
The tagline for Browntown is a film about betting your ass.
Okay, so that's the interesting twist is that Crayola decided to try to get a little risky with the titling of their colors, as they do. You know, like there's always salmon color, and then they kind of like get creative. There was a couple of crayons that were just like, that sweet ass. That was one of them.
Nice.
That's my favorite.
The scent of poo was another. That one. And so these crayons have to team up and like defend that even though they were titled something that makes people feel a certain kind of way, they still had value, and that when used in proper ways for coloring purposes only, that they mattered.
I am being corrected by the chat, and they are correct. The full title of the movie,
someone in the chat knows this movie.
Apparently, the full title of the movie is "Win a Trip to Browntown." Is actually the full title of the movie.
Because the idea is that Crayola has this very specific technology where they can take a human being and transport them into the world of Crayola. So a child can win a chance to go to Browntown. Now, the parents are in an uproar because of that ass. There's actually... There's actually like a second release, because remember, this is a whole palette. There's like a lot of different shades of brown here. And one of them was called That Sweet Sweet Ass, and that one had sparkles in it. So anyway, there's a child that wins this trip to turn into a tiny person and go into the Browntown, and it's just this uproar and
it's amazing.
More information, please. I'd like to.
What was the tagline you said?
A film about betting your ass.
Because the tagline on IMDb is family dreams, butt stuff.
I was gonna. That's the other tagline.
See,
so the other tagline. Well, not that. The other tagline I have. So here's a second tagline for you, Deneé. Family dreams, one cheeky bet.
Yeah. They're all just betting that their kid's the one that's going to get to go to the Browntown.
Perfect movie.
Kids get to go to Browntown.
Oh my god.
We have we have toilet smear Crayola crayon color. We have so many different things, to go and discover.
I will tell you the O in the word Browntown is specifically shaped. What is it shaped like, Deneé?
A sphincter, which is also one of the colors of the crayons.
Yeah. Pink sphincter.
It's a little pink. It's kind of like a pinky brown color.
Yeah.
Appropriate.
Right. Very well done. I think I would rather see Deneé's movie. Here is the actual description of the movie Win a Trip to Browntown. Frank Sigas is a middle-aged family man and struggling novelist who can only see his life's shortcomings. On their 21st anniversary, his soft-spoken wife Laura surprises him with an offer. If he can lose 50 pounds in 3 months, she will give him a unique sexual adventure. As he struggles to lose the weight, Frank learns that the paths chosen in life's journey are more important than its final destination. That is Win a Trip to Browntown.
If you're calling that sexual destination Browntown, though, I don't care if I lose the weight, because that's completely like, I'm good.
So his incentive is anal?
Yes.
That's what it sounds like.
This is the movie.
That's the premise of the movie.
Yep, you got it. You figured it out.
You get butt fun.
Cool.
I probably won't watch that unless somebody.
And the
it's
poster
the funniest movie ever.
Is just a woman facing the other way with brown handprints on her butt. Which is that supposed to be poo? Is that?
I mean, it doesn't have to. Like that's.
I'm
odd
shocked you haven't watched this. I need you to watch your screener, Aaron, and I need you to report back to us.
Deneé, this is at the end of the day. This is what you get for having seen Reservoir Dogs.
Yes.
So
you're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, there you go. Wow. That is deconstruction. Next time, you know what? I may actually just ask you, Deneé. Here's the title. Have you seen this movie?
Yes.
And that way all the prep doesn't seem to be
but I could still get it wrong. I still might have like a.
That's true.
Yeah, we can just keep going even because I didn't
but I was
say
like
a lot
Reservoir
about
Dogs, and you're like, here are all the specific things in this movie.
But I didn't know the plot.
It's a very it's low budget, so there's not a lot.
You kind of did know the plot.
There's not a lot of sets, and I mean it's just a couple locations.
Oh, okay.
And that ear thing is a big part of it. So
yeah, totally.
We used an outtake from that a lot. If you ever hear the outtake where it's like, "You're gonna be fine,"
be okay.
That's from
you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, you're gonna be okay.
From the car ride. Yeah, totally. Well, there you go. That's gonna do it for Behind the Sins this week. Behind the sins this week.
Goodness.
Don't forget to make sure you're subscribed to go ahead and leave a comment or rating as well. If you've got anything you want to send us, if you've got anything you want to, you want to send us. That's right. If you got anything you want to send us, mail it to P.O. Box 881 Republic, Missouri 65738. Feel free to hang out with us on Twitter. I'm at Aaron Dicer. He's at Wits End. She is at Deneé Says.
DENEESAYS.
And he is at Sam Loomis 13. So for Jonathan Watkins, Ian Whittington, Deneé Hughes, a microwaved pillow of shredded wheat, and myself, we will see you next week.
Happy National Cheesesteak Day.
Thanks for listening. Send any feedback to bts@cinemasins.com and be sure to subscribe, rate, and comment. Find more ways to connect by visiting cinemasins.com/BTS.
You all right? You got it all set there?
I think so.
I've never seen someone so gingerly place their microphone before.
Have you ever sat in a room with Deneé when you tried to adjust a microphone? Yes is the answer. Have you ever been beaten to death by Deneé as you try to adjust a microphone? I suppose I should join the link.
I suppose you should.
Have you bothered to send it this week? Yes, you did.
Have you bothered to send it? How dare you?
What is your name?
Your name is...
Done it.
Done it. I like it. I like it. But don't you usually put an Ian in there? Done it, Ian? Ian done it?
Donut Ian?
Done Ian it?
Do not Ian?
Why, yes, I'm late to the recording of BTS because I was watching hair tutorial videos on YouTube. Let's go!
Okay. All right.
Oh, I'm not
I
muted.
can hear an echo.
Yeah, he's not
you can.
muted.
That's me.
Yeah, I heard my squeal.
Yeah, it was unpleasant, wasn't it?
No, it was great.
Yeah.
It's how I communicate with the whales, Ian.
You communicate with them from the future?
Mm-hmm. Well, remember, I live in multiple timelines at once, remember?
In the future, Conan?
In the year 2000.
I love it when Deneé gets a reference. It's one of my favorite things.
Great opening lines are hard. Like Jaws is a really, I can't remember what Jaws is though, but that's a real, I know that's one that people quote a lot. The opening line of the book.
Line of
it's
Jaws
like
book.
The creature.
The great fish moves silently through the night water, propelled by short sweeps of its crescent tail.
Oh, nice.
Fuck that noise. I should not have goddamn read that. What the fuck am I doing right now? God damn it.
Deneé is literally... Deneé is literally Googling.
Google Jaws.
Hey,
Jesus.
What does Jaws book say? I introduced Ian to March Madness yesterday.
The same thing. Yeah. Try to explain that to me.
He loved it. He was just entrenched in basketball now. He's a huge basketball fan. And,
I remember Budapest very differently.
It's really neat to me that he was just like, yeah, I love basketball now, and just solidified our friendship in a really powerful way.
My first thought was, how does this squeaking of shoes not irritate the what's-its out of you? Like, it's just, the entire match is just...
You get used to it.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I love that noise.
I'm sure you do because you play.
Crazy person.
No, I like it is nostalgia. Like it put it in my veins. Like I played basketball for so long. Like that was the noise of joy for me.
Game happening.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Basketball players, you will sometimes hear, not much anymore. It's a really old word, but some of the older like announcers will call basketball players cagers. And this is because when basketball started, that's fine. You can sleep. Some people will find it interesting, Ian, but feel free to diminish it. When they started basketball.
I'm listening. I don't know this, so I'm curious.
You and plenty of other people, just not two of the people who are in this call. I'll tell you later, Jonathan.
I was trying to look up that Bjork song that uses the squeaky shoes as part of her music.
No, it does not happen.
Yeah. No, it really does. She has this movie called Dancer in the Dark, which is one of like the most disturbing things. It's a love-hate relationship. It's the most Recco-warm situation I've ever had. Yeah.
I'm sorry. But when we had that recommendation segment and you were like, you said out of like all the movies you could have said, like that would have been maybe like 1,000 on my guest list.
When it was playing on the television, I just happened to like come across it. And so of course I was kind of like, oh my God, Bjork's here. And she's singing these really interesting songs. And the idea is that she's slowly going blind. And so, and she hears music around her.
That was epic. Lars von Trier, man, that's a director I don't tend to go for. Breaking the Waves is really good. That's about the only one I can, but I couldn't get through Dogville. I didn't even try that sex one, the two-parter.
Dominaniac?
No, what was that called? Do you remember that, Aaron?
Yes.
But he just likes to watch me try to pull for it.
Nymphomaniac.
Yeah. Not Dominaniac.
Or necrophiliac.
That's the one.
Kirsten Dunst.
Wow. That was amazing, Jonathan.
That was so
more
good.
Of that.
What was that?
I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out what that voice is.
It's your voice doing something amazing. Did you not realize it was you making those sounds? Kind of did some noodling on the deconstruction category. I think Deneé will be in charge of asking for information. And so you'll be able to say, I would like a tagline, a plot keyword, a piece of trivia, a quote from the movie, or a B-team team up. Where you can ask Ian
can I say
or
things like, does it have a banana in it? What about like cooking? Can I ask a random question?
That would be a B-team team up where you would pick either
Is the
Ian
movie
or
going to be a
Jonathan.
surprise? Are we not supposed to know beforehand?
Let's hold it. Yeah, let's make it a surprise.
Okay, that's fine with me.
I'm pretty sure you've both seen it, and I'm also pretty sure Deneé has not.
That's going to really suck if Deneé has seen it.
She's like,
you have a
that's
backup.
my favorite movie.
Gone with the Wind.
It'll be interesting if they haven't and they guess it too, right?
Did you pick Dancer in the Dark?
Yeah, right. The one.
Nymphomaniac Part 2.
Yeah, we popped in as we usually do about half an hour before the show starts, and no one was leaving comments in the audience, and we're like, usually there's a few comments here because people are here early or whatever, and then we were like, did we not post it? There was literally like 5 minutes where I'm just like checking all the posts and making sure I had the link up and all that kind of stuff.
Then we had to talk Aaron down. He was a little upset.
How dare you not be here an hour early, chat?
Come on, guys.
Come on. Where's your commitment?
What are we
and
doing
also,
here?
your value and worth is not based on whether or not there's an audience. We would be doing this no matter what. If there's no one here.
And in the business, we call that argumentative.
I worry for the day that Aaron realizes that because he may just stop everything.
That's right. If I'm not trying to increase my value by how many people are paying attention to my opinions. JCD says, I see Aaron the critic dicer, Deneé the distracted Hughes, Jonathan Eddie Watkins. I forgot about Eddie Watts. That's amazing. And Ian Need for Speed Whittington. So,
It's me.
Glad we all have our nicknames.
Man. It's like, honestly, like if I'd have turned to you, having seen the police car and said, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to blow past them as fast as I can and we're going to get away with it. You would have been like, please don't do that.
I just realized, though, that week that you told that story, we covered the Fast and the Furious.
We did.
Suppository. I just now thought, because I thought that's why he said Need for Speed, which he still might have been referencing that, because we talked about that movie, because that's why we...
Yeah, it's weird.
We don't have to go over the suppository again. Listen to the last episode if you want to know what I'm talking about.
It's weird that they did my biography years before the key event in my life happened.
Yes, that is always strange.
Yeah, you're such a dom.
Yeah.
So...
And I'm a sub. I'm sorry. By the way, Dom and Sub are both Fast and Furious references. There's a sub. There's a big sub in the finale of was that 7 or 8?
Fate.
That was 8.
Fate of the Furious.
Yeah, that was 8.
As in a subway or a sandwich?
As in a submarine, as in the vehicle.
Right, got it. I'm amazed that we all made it out of the outtakes, to be honest. There was some multiple levels of tension between us all.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been arguing.
Mm-hmm.
That book is so good.
All right. The book that Jonathan is referencing is The Corner's Waist High by Jeremy Scott.
I don't know whether
someone
that
on a
helps my
podcast
edit
I was
or
listening
not.
to the other day did a visual joke, and I'm like, oh my God, that's what it's like working with me on a podcast.
That's true.
I hear like this slam noise, and I look over, and she's taken the book and she's shoved it down on the desk, and she goes, no. She looks over at me and she goes, oh my God. Oh my fucking God. No. And she stands up. Her hands are in her hair. She starts pacing around. She gets to the door. She does like a little twirl. She comes back. She sits down. She takes the book and she slowly picks it up. She opens it slowly again and she slams it. She was like, no. And she puts it down. And she started going, fuck. Oh my God. Oh, fuck. Oh my God. I think.
That's
my
amazing.
fucking God. And she picks it back up and she's like, no. Fuck.
Oh.
It was incredible. I was over here typing in real time what she was doing. She's standing up, she's twirling around, because I was sending it to Jeremy because I wanted him to have the experience of like someone basically. I was like live tweeting her experience. It was so incredible.
That's amazing.
He was so happy because of her reaction. She was flipped the fuck out, which is great. And then after she read a little while longer, she just sits back and she's like, that was twisted.
Mm-hmm.
This is good.
Nice.
Anybody who wants, I'm going to give one away to somebody in chat today. So
Nice.
You can go onto Discord and message me directly. And at the end of the show today, I will do a random drawing on a website. Like I'll put your names in a random one and then I'll send it to one person because I'll send this copy. This exact copy right here.
Oh, wow.
That I'm
Blowing
touching.
Yes. Put it on the dogs.
Spill coffee on it.
Let the dogs lick it.
Yeah,
let the dogs lick it.
Do it.
I'll put it with the puppies. Yeah, I'm going to let it sit with the dogs.
Let them express their anal glands on it.
Oh, Dicer.
Sorry.
Dicer, no. It's off.
Okay,
We've cancelled
we're not
it.
leaving it with the dogs. I'm sorry.
All right, I'm going to get us into SinSide Scoop, give Ian a nice little edit point.
Oh, no. We're not in the outtakes anymore.
No. Well, we were there for a second. Yes, we were.
Kirsten done.
Well, let's head into the SinSide Scoop. You've got a clean one there for me.
Yeah,
so you're
I've
good.
got Aaron. It's fine.
I thought we were in the pre-show.
No,
So did
we
I.
are
I
in the
forgot.
show,
He's done the
people.
intro
We are
already.
in the freaking show.
I don't know how to do
I
this.
didn't hear it. Oh
What do you mean you
my
didn't hear it? You said you hadn't been fired.
You hadn't been
You guys
fired.
were arrested and fired.
God. I remember that now.
Thankfully, Ian, you do have a
Good.
transition
No,
from me in there already.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay.